This is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk some old school NBA basketball. Now, in the past couple of months, I've been showing you my XXL versions of NBA legends talking about certain players. And today, we got to talk about Penny Hardaway. Not only one of the most exciting NBA players of all time, one of my favorite point guards of all time. So, yeah, obviously we gotta see some other legends like Shaq talking about him, maybe Magic Johnson, and a lot of new clips. So, but before we start, let me ask you guys for a small favor. If you're new to the show, subscribe to the channel, like the content, and I would say, let's go. Now the first player that we're going to take a look at is Michael Finley, who unfortunately doesn't go too many times on NBA shows, but here he talks about Penny Hardaway busting his butts.
I would probably say Penny.
Ooh.
I would say Penny.
Orlando Magic?
Orlando Magic
yes,
Penny.
Absolutely.
Hey, I remember to this day, Penny had me on the post, and I was like, I got him. He did a spin move, baseline, reverse dunk. And I was like, he the real deal. So I think it was Penny was the first that really got at him.
And the next clip that we're going to take a look at is from Shaquille O'Neal. As always, he talks about the story, how he discovered Penny Hardaway.
I go to LA. And again, I don't pay attention to players. So, it's like, hey, we allow you to do movies, you got to work out. So I'm shooting blue chips. From 12 to 3, I'm working out. So I see this skinny kid, and this diming me up every time. I'm thinking he's an actor. Hey, yo, man, what's your name? He's like, hey, man, I'm Penny Hardaway. I'm like, you play? He's like, yeah, I put my name in the draft. You did? I get on the phone. I say, yo, man, y'all heard of Penny Hardaway? I say, yeah, so I want this. Bro, when I tell you, me and this Magic and Kareem,
It was bananas.
No, but hold on. I'm talking summertime where there ain't no rules where everybody doing it. I'm touching this every time. I'm like, the dream come true. It's like, I played with cats like Lou Will that were really good enough, and they didn't have to pass it. Like, I played with Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Every time I'd be in the post and put my hands up, and he would miss me, but it wouldn't matter because to go in. So I ain't really touch it a lot.
On the parquet.
Oh, inside pivot. I've never seen that.
I can't even figure out that move right there.
I gotta rewatch this real quick.
Off the right foot, a half spin.
Or the whole spin.
Off the right into a
Smitty into a step back.
But he used his opposite foot first.
It's so funny when you see a move as an athlete, you start doing the timing in your head about how it would go down.
Crossover, half spin.
He puts his back to the basket, 20 feet from the basket. He's basically posting up from the three-point line, and then he decides not to put his back to the basket, but do a step back and turn around and throw up a prayer with 2 seconds left on the clock.
I wonder what's the name of that move. Like, we got to call that something.
This is bad basketball. If my son saw this clip and said, I'm going to work on that move, I would say, sir, you're better off cutting off your left foot than working on this move. This is not something that anyone should ever attempt again. And you know what? I'm going to go on wax and say this. I've never seen anybody do this step back before.
The move you just saw Penny do, it's a combination of a spin and a hesitation that'll put somebody on their heels and they'll know what you're about to do.
It looks so wrong, but so right.
He's dancing. People don't know about Penny Hardaway. If you don't know, now you know.
Like, you have to be special to do something like that. Did you see the footwork on that?
Like, it's one thing when you're working on that type of footwork, but to have that footwork translate into an in-game experience and it look as effortless as that, like you can't teach that.
Not Eliza.
Dog, Penny was my dude.
Of course.
Penny, Harder, you couldn't tell me shit about Penny Hardaway, bro.
Y'all kind of similar.
Yeah. Why you think that's why we're number one?
Yeah.
That's why
I never knew that.
With the
I never
arm
knew
band,
that.
That's why we're number one. My dog, that was my Michael Jordan, bro, growing up. Because you gotta think, he played for the Magic. I grew up 30 miles right down the street,
Right
so
down.
I watched him every single day. And bro, Penny, man, Penny was the truth, bro.
Hell
Yes,
yeah,
Lord.
people don't
Penny.
forget.
Oh.
They forget how cold Penny would have been one of the greatest players,
Ever.
hands down, if had it not been
Ever.
injury.
Yes, sir.
Penny
Yes,
was a
sir.
killer.
But that was my dude, man. Footwork, passing ability. He was cold, man.
Man, Penny was the truth.
They've forgotten about Penny Hardaway. 6'7", 6'8", like a Magic Johnson, who can shoot the ball, very athletic. So, I mean, his IQ was off the chart when it came to basketball.
And that was crazy because Penny, like growing up, he was the standard. For a minute, there was 2 years that he was better than Jordan, bro. Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we
No.
Here we go.
2 years. For 2 years, Penny Hardaway was better than Michael Jordan.
Boy. Boy, stop.
All right. No, I'm not.
When you talk about statistics,
When he came back, when he was 4'5", Penny was better than Michael Jordan.
you are tweaking.
He always was a cold cat. He really was. He really was. That's something I always think about. Like, if I would have did it different, I probably could have stayed there, ended up there, or on the piece of team. Like, I always think about stuff that could have, impacted my life a little differently.
Is that a regret you have?
Yeah, because I always think about if we would have stayed together, how many we could have got.
Do you think you would have got multiple, more than you got in LA?
That's the hard thing. But Penny was that good.
Right.
Penny wasn't Kobe.
No.
No.
I know. What'd he say?
Penny was Kobe before Kobe.
I was saying, but Penny wasn't as good as Kobe. Like, let's be honest. Penny was not going to be a top 3
Penny
player.
got injured. Penny had knees.
Oh, you sure about that?
You say Penny could have been a top 3 player of all time because that's what Kobe is.
Yes. If he didn't get injured, yes. Bro, hold on. Penny came in like that.
Penny was a dog.
Hold on. Penny came in like that. It took Kobe maybe 2.5 years to get to that level. Penny came in, he was already like that.
Yeah.
First year he came in, we went to the finals. Penny was cold, and that's why I always tell people, he was Kobe before Kobe. People give me flack like that, say he couldn't have turned out, but if he wouldn't have got injured, he'd definitely be up there. Definitely. Hey, Penny was a cold cat. You know it. Yeah, boy.
If he had stayed healthy, Reg, finish that sentence.
First ballot Hall of Famer. Easily. I mean, could do everything. I know people like to compare him to Magic Johnson. They were different type, tall guards. Penny was special because he saw the floor like Magic, but I thought he was a better scorer and maybe post-up player than Magic. And to remember, him and Shaquille at a young age.
I know.
At a young age. I mean, we had our battles back in the early 90s going against those guys. And we were fortunate to beat them, but Penny was just a rookie. So I knew the following year, once he figured it out, and they took us to 7 games and beat us in 7 games.
Clearly on paper, if both players were healthy and both players were, functioning the way they were capable of, it was a fantastic backcourt pairing. 2 playmaking guards, 2 scorers, two guys that played with pace, played with energy, shot-making ability in Penny's situation. A prolific scorer in his prime. With the bounce that he had in his prime. It was a really an interesting and unique combination.
Although both combustible, both have ego, I think they really wanted to make it work. But health played a huge part in not allowing that to happen.
Jason Kidd up top of the key. Kidd bounces the ball at the baseline to Penny Hardaway. Wham, bam, slam. What a play. Oh, brother.
It's a very exciting time for us to say that Penny Hardaway is now a Phoenix Sun.
With Penny, there was a lot of excitement. I was excited. I thought this was going to be someone that could help me, make the game a lot easier. Understanding Penny's talents and what he did in Orlando to help them win.
All of a sudden, I really believe that this puts us as one of the elite teams in the NBA. And our expectations are much higher than they were a week ago.
Jason is, by far to me,
the best point guard in the NBA. I mean, he's a great guy. He's very unselfish. I've known him and had a relationship with him before even thinking about coming to Phoenix, and it was always a thought in the back of my mind, wanting to play with a point guard of that magnitude.
Kidd starting to back down. A nice bounce pass for Hardaway, who scores. What a pass by Kidd to Hardaway.
Unbelievable. Well, I mean, Jason's obviously a first ballot Hall of Fame player. There's no question about it. I mean, he just made everybody better on the court. His vision, his size, his speed, triple-double every night. I mean, he was just that dynamic of a player. And then obviously Penny was an incredible talent. Injuries kind of sidetracked his career, but phenomenal player. You know, athletic at the point guard position, played way above the rim, great passer, great vision, and both those guys just had tremendous feel for the game, but obviously Penny was slowed down just because of the injuries.
I know it was a dynamic backcourt. You know, you had two of the better point guards in the league. Penny 6'8", long. Both could, you know, play off the ball and on the ball. I think you had two very gifted guards, physically talented, skills talented, and the way they thought the game was on another level.
We never got a chance to even see if they were truly a good mix or not. And that was unfortunate because of injuries too. You know.
It reminds me of a Penny Hardaway type guy. Tall guy, skinny, can do it all. And think what Penny Hardaway used to do with Shaq. And now he's doing this on the court, doing some fantastic, electrifying the crowd with his passes and be able to come and knock down threes.
You always talk about the next Michael Jordan, but who is your game pattern after?
You know, I never pattern my game after anybody, but I can receive flashes of magic and some of Penny Hardaway, one of my favorite players.
Time to give them their roses, and we're excited for this one. Penny Hardaway, in 3 seasons together in Orlando, Penny and Shaq averaged 56 wins per season, a 4-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA. It is for our segment, Give Them Their Roses, where we have NBA players that we think need to get more love. And the man, the myth, the legend is joining us.
Hardaway beats 1, 2, let it go, good! 1.6 left. He hammers it home, and the Magic lead by 2.
Hey, and the real key to that play was not the fact that he dunked it, although yes, that's big, but how he freed himself up.
Nick Anderson, another 3.
This is just someone outthinking everyone else, knowing where everybody is.
Trying to get it to Anthony Hardaway, and Hardaway with the steal. It's a 4-on-1. Hardaway over Mitchell, serving up a faithful.
You play the Magic in the first round, and there's a guy that shares your last name. This was probably one of the last years before, unfortunately, injuries started to hamper him. Shaq is gone. He's probably able to do whatever he wants. And I'm sure for you as a 6'1" guard, you might be looking around like, there's guys now like him that are playing my position and can do some of the things that I can do, but they have
very athletic.
6'6" and very athletic. Just talk to us about Penny Hardaway and what you remember from that series.
So we let when he traded Mitch Richmond, I'm like, damn, we get Penny Hardaway. I'm looking at Penny at Memphis. I'm like, damn, okay.
He cold.
Woo! We gonna be rolling. We gonna be rolling. I can throw to him, let him do all this shit and all this and all that. Oh man. And then he said, no, we're gonna trade and get Chris Webber. I was like, okay, that's cool too. You know, that's not bad either. You know, so we gonna be rolling in. But yeah, we played them in the first round, Miami Heat in Orlando. So we go up 2-0. And was it 2-0? Yeah, 2-0. Then we go up there, we win game 3. Man, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. But oh my God. He turned into another person. And we couldn't stop him. He was making everything. I mean, turnaround jump shots, step backs.
The quarter turn step back, the inside with the funny style inside turn. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what happened, but we couldn't stop him. And fortunately, game 5, we won. You know, that because that was first round. best 3 out of 5. So yeah, we won the first 2, and then they won the next 2. But yeah, we fortunately we won Game 5 and went to that next series. But man, I'm gonna tell you this: I'm happy for Penny, well deserved. He's going to get into the Hall of Fame this year, and if he did not get hurt, like he said, we'll be talking about him and Michael getting MVPs or who the scoring leader, this and that, because he was just that good.
Number 2, Penny Hardaway.
My guy.
Right?
Oh, yeah, that was
Anthony Avant.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Charles Smith.
Through traffic.
I started watching the games, you know, when I was like 19 years old. When I first started, I was watching just a fan. I was just a fan of Michael Jordan and Anthony Penny Hardaway and Grant Hill and, you know, those guys. I was just a fan.
Penny never got hurt. Where do you think he ranks among some of the best point guards or best guards to ever play?
Penny was a problem. One of the first 6'9", 6'8" point guards we done seen. You know, he was a problem, man. I think when they put Little Penny out there, it kind of picked him up. They should have left Little Penny in the damn bank.
Why? Why you say that?
God, he got bought into all that shit, man. And, you know, you get caught up sometimes. You get caught up in that shit, man. And, you know, instead of doing your job and shit. But, yeah, Penny was a problem, though. But, yeah, I think they should have left Little Penny out of the way.
Well, you know why they put Little Penny in there? Because with Penny having a quiet personality, they was like, all right, we need Little Penny to be a loud mouth.
Yeah, he was a loud. Okay, yeah.
And then it was with Nike.
True.
Chris
Rock,
right?
Right.
Chris Rock was Little Penny, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah. And then we all know how Chris Rock could be.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Another episode of Story Mode.
I think Penny Hardaway, especially if he would have had a long career, he'd be in the discussion about being the GOAT. From Jordan to Kobe and anybody else would tell you the same thing. I remember J.R. Ryder scored on Kobe and was talking shit one day in practice. So Kobe said, me and you after practice, one-on-one, and Kobe ate his up.
We gotta ask about the Latrell Sprewell, PJ Carlesimo altercation. Was there a buildup that y'all saw like it's bubbling over?
Yeah, there was a buildup.
You had to honor Penny from shooting the 3, D. Scott in the corner, Nick Anderson on the other side.
Penny was a lot of people's favorite players. He was, like, for a while, it was, you know, for us, when you talk about the most popular players, it was Michael Jordan, then Penny Hardaway. Like, everybody had those pennies, too. Like, the next shoe that was in line was pennies.
I used to wear the Penny Hardaways all day when I was in college. And they went with my college uniform with Kansas. I had the blue and white ones. Oh, my gosh.
Penny Hardaway has the most underrated run of signature shoes in the history of signature shoes. Go ahead. He will go shoe for shoe against every single person in the world except for Michael Jordan. There's not another NBA athlete with the consistency, with the volume, and with the impact and the long tail. People are still wearing foam posits. I would be wearing foam posits right now if I can afford them, and I'm on television and I can't afford them.
In the league with Michael Jordan had Air Jordan and Jumpman, Penny still was able to have Little Penny imprint and be successful.
With Nike, with Penny Hardaway, and with Chris Rock. I think a lot of people remember Little Penny as a puppet, but Little Penny was not a puppet. Little Penny was Chris Rock, one of the greatest stand-up comedians to ever hold a microphone.
Oh my gosh. Those were the best commercials ever. I'm telling you, I was in love with Penny.
From a culture perspective, I can see, you know, it's my nerdy side coming out though. I saw like brands start to pivot on how they created content, which is pretty cool. They started to create content based off personalities for culture, which I liked.
I give Spike Lee a lot of credit because he's the common denominator to help validate MJ in a lot of ways in the urban environment. Yes, we loved how he played basketball, but we didn't like the fact that he didn't speak up for social issues. So Spike Lee gave him a level of validity with Morris Blackman. In a different way, Spike Lee's creative side helped introduce us to Little Penny, and Spike Lee needs to get a lot more credit for what happened with the launch of both of those very successful campaigns.
Obviously, Penny is an iconic figure in the game of basketball. I mean, Little Penny is an iconic figure in the game of basketball. But for me, I always try to go to personal stories. And here's one for me. So when I was coming out of high school, Penny, I was academically ineligible. This was year 2000. And I really didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should go to junior college, if I should go to college and sit out, or what I should do. So I was told to do a little research. And my research led me to a player that played in the same conference, Conference USA, that went to Memphis State, eventually is now, everyone knows it is Memphis University, that was academically ineligible his first year in college. And to be able to kind of, 10 years later, to look at the career you had in college, to look at that time, what you were doing in the NBA, what you and Shaq was doing in the NBA, they gave me the confidence that I was making the right decision. Going to college, even though I didn't pass my ACT. And I just want to tell you, through all the hardship that you've dealt with in your life, through everything you've dealt with, just understand how important you are and how important these moments are for people that looks up to you, that looked up to you. And I looked up to you because I've seen someone that was amazing at the sport that I wanted to play, and that went through the same trials and tribulations I went through in life, whether it was away from the game and whether it was dealing with school. So I thank you, man, for leading the way, for giving me someone within the conference that I was playing in and going through the same thing to show me that, you know what, you can go through this and you can still come out of this and be an all-star and be one of the best to ever play the game.
Penny in the open floor. Watch out. Ooh.
Are you serious? This is like MJ.
Whoa, baby, move over Michael Jordan.
See, move over Michael Jordan. I feel validated.
That is stuff that is, you can teach it all day long, but that's just an innate touch. That's an innate skill set that not a lot of people possess.
One distinct reason why. In order to do a move like that, you have to be able to jump. Penny Hardaway was able to do so. I was gravity challenged.
Like, people that play as much basketball and have the instincts that he does can do things like this, which make people like me, which have no athleticism or instincts, just jealous and envious and entertained.
If anybody's game I ever wanted to have, it's Penny Hardaway's. I was like, my game is all right. I want his game.
A 6'8", 6'9" point guard. Everybody looked at him like a more athletic Magic Johnson.
My entire life, I wanted to be the next Magic. And then I saw Penny. I'm like, he got a real chance.
That's what he had. That magic around the field. You got to have that flip of the wrist. He was different, man. I see why he was LeBron's favorite player. Had to be.
I don't remember the first time I saw Penny play. I think I remember seeing clips of him play. It just was like, the only thing we got common is that we're tall and then we're black. Like, we both tall point guards. I'm like, he quick, he can jump. His game is beautiful.
Describing Penny's game is more like watching a Lamborghini take a very tight corner and then another very tight corner and then go 250 miles an hour on a straightaway. It's just watching the finest tuned machine perform at the highest level and doing what it was built to do. If you look at Penny Hardaway's measurables, what he's able to do with the basketball, passing ability, leading the game, jump shots, driving, finishing, defending, he checks all of the boxes.
Penny Hardaway could score. He averaged 21 points a game, like in his second or third season. He followed it up with a 22-point, and that's sharing the ball with Shaq. And that is never being a gunner. That is never being selfish. They would have changed the direction of basketball, the history of basketball, had they been able to stay healthy.
Like, Penny would have went down as, he probably would have been for sure top 20 greatest of all time if he would have had a healthy career.
If Penny Hardaway and Grant Hill hadn't got injured, we would have conversations about both of those guys being two of the top 12 players of all time. They would definitely be in that conversation between 11 and 20. They would be in that conversation. No hyperbole.
I really believe you'd be talking about Penny in the same light as Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, man. I think he was really that talented, that good.
You have to compare it to like a time-lapse video of a flower blooming, something that appears in nature that is beautiful, because that is what we saw. The perfect basketball player playing basketball perfectly.
And I just feel bad that Penny Hardaway got hurt. It's hard to watch and see Penny Hardaway not be able to fulfill it all.
Anthony Penny Hardaway seemed to possess an unlimited array of skills, and he would showcase this talent with a style all his own.
As they go to Hardaway, one pass. Whoa, what a great behind the back to Arroyo for the layup right side. Oh, Penny Hardaway behind his back. 3-point bomb. Good! Now the Magic have a break. Here's Hardaway.
This is Penny on the run. Owens gets back. Oh, what a shot! Whoa.
That's the kind of play the superstar is supposed to make.
With his rare combination of size and versatility, Penny would instantly evoke comparisons to some of the greatest big guards in NBA history.
Penny is like magic. He has point guard skills, center skills, post-up skills. He's an exceptional player.
Once a big guard gets into the lane, you can't do anything.
Penny drives baseline. Below the rack.
Nobody could do anything with Oscar. I had the same way, and now Anthony's doing the same thing. And he jumps higher than both of us, probably put together.
During the 1980s, Magic had teamed with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to lead the Lakers to 5 NBA championships. A decade later, in 1993, Penny joined center Shaquille O'Neal in Orlando, where they would combine to form a new and devastating 1-2 punch.
You think he has eyes in the back of his head?
In only their second season together, these two young stars upset the mighty Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Conference semifinals.
Hardaway, beautiful dish.
And they seem poised to capture the first of many championships.
The Orlando Magic's universally regarded as the NBA's team of the future. The question is, can the Rockets make them wait a little longer?
In the 1995 finals, Orlando would be swept by the defending champion Houston Rockets. But for Penny and the Magic, the future still appeared bright.
Well, we just looked at the Rockets celebrating and just tried to soak in as much as possible and try to say that use this as a motivating factor to get back next year.
But their rapid rise to the finals was followed by a sudden reversal of fortune, one that would test Hardaway's resolve. The following season in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Bulls would earn their revenge, embarrassing the Magic in a 4-game sweep. And in the aftermath of that defeat, the cornerstone of the franchise, superstar Shaquille O'Neal, departed Orlando to sign as a free agent with the Lakers.
I think they really suffer to the fact that they lost Shaquille. When you lose a centerpiece like that, I don't think it's easy to recover from.
1997 was another year of turmoil and frustration for Penny and the Magic, as they struggled throughout the regular season just to remain over 500. In the playoffs opening round against Miami, injuries had left them badly overmatched. And after being blown out in the first 2 games, they faced the prospect of yet another humiliating sweep. But Hardaway would take matters into his own hands. Assuming control of the depleted Magic, he single-handedly lifted them to 2 improbable victories.
Hardaway on the drive, pulls up, launches a 3-point shot, got it! Oh, man! He's got it all going on tonight, folks. Ashburn cut off. Hardaway the block. Penny fires it up, yes! Morning, turn it over. Hardaway. Hardaway's taking this game over. Folks, you're watching Picasso go to work.
And he proved that he could get, 40 in successive games against a very, very good defensive club.
Penny Hardaway. He took this team and put it on his shoulders and said, let's ride.
That kind of woke people up even more.
Yes, sir. It is Penny time.
The 3rd pick in the 1993 NBA draft goes to the Golden State Warriors.
Philly or Orlando? Philly or Orlando?
Second pick in the 1993 NBA draft goes to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Unbelievable.
And believe it or not, the first pick in the 1993 NBA draft goes to the Orlando Magic.
The Magic securing the #1 pick in 1993 was the most improbable result in the history of the NBA draft lottery. Orlando finished 41-41 and just missed making the playoffs. But suddenly, general manager Pat Williams was in perfect position to draft Chris Webber, a can't-miss power forward prospect out of the University of Michigan.
if I go play on this team, I'm gonna average a triple-double my whole life because I'm gonna get 10 boards, and it's gonna be so easy getting 10 assists. I'm gonna get 10 oops a game.
Everyone knew about this guy, Chris Webber, and what he could do, and his big old hands. And we still had Shaquille O'Neal. But as a shooter, I was saying, I have C-Webb on one block, Shaquille O'Neal on another block. I'm gonna get so many wide open shots. This is gonna be fun.
I watched him in college, watched him in high school, and it reminded me of myself, -3 inches. I was a big guy, liked to handle, liked to make good passes, and a big guy that liked the ball. And I think if I wouldn't have done the movie Blue Chips with Penny Hardaway.
Take that! There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. You see what that does? That takes that man down there. Now that pick can get set.
I thought that's what I was doing.
No. You took the ball and you just took off around that way. Play this two-man game. Son, play the two-man game.
That year, there was a movie, Blue Chips, and I didn't want to be in a movie. I wanted to work and get better as a player. I just come from college on a great team. It didn't end the way that I wanted to. We lost the championship. So in my mind, it was more about grinding it out, getting ready for my next challenge.
First of all, I had no idea who Penny Hardaway was. So I'm doing the moves with Blue Chips, and you know, the guys are always putting us on the same team. And I was saying to myself, damn, this actor can make it in the NBA. And one guy put me aside, that's Penny Hardaway.
My agents, friends, family thought I was crazy for turning it down. And looking back, I may have been, because the only reason why Shaq and Penny are together is because they used to play games after filming.
Penny Hardaway so impressed Shaq during their pickup games on the set of Blue Chips that the big man convinced the Magic front office to acquire the multi-skilled guard. And although the Magic drafted Webber with the #1 overall pick, they had no intention of keeping him.
Orlando has traded the draft rights to Chris Webber to Golden State in exchange for the draft rights to Anthony Hardaway and 3 future first-round draft picks.
I always say to myself, what if C-Webb and Shaq would have played together? We probably could have did the same damage that Shaq and Penny did. I think about it all the time.
So what if that trade never happened and Chris Webber remained in Orlando? Could it have worked with 2 young and dominant big men on the same team?
Wow. That's interesting. Chris Webber and Shaq. I mean, it's like Shaq and baby Shaq, you know, on the same team. It would have been tough to go in the lane with Webb and Shaq. And I do think, look, with the talent, they would have figured out a way to make it work and be successful.
So part of me is old school, which I wish we'd have kept the big fella, but Penny Hardaway was special. I think that's why, without the injuries, what if? Could have been a great thing.
I mean, I think we would have done all the damage in the world. Well, I think I would have had fun in it, but it wasn't meant to be. You know, Shaq and I always tease each other about that. What if it would have happened?
What if the Webber trade never went down and Hardaway remained in Golden State? Maybe Penny becomes the starting 2 guard with Tim Hardaway running the point. Sweet shooting Chris Mullin could move to the 3 while multi-dimensional Billy Owens starts at the 4. That leaves lefty Chris Gatling at the 5 and the explosive Latrell Sprewell off the bench. That's a pretty deep team for head coach Don Nelson and his lead assistant, Greg Popovich.
Knowing Don Nelson, that's really interesting because they would have started playing small a lot earlier in the NBA than they do now. Don was always tinkering around with small lineups, so now we would have been small and would have maybe revolutionized the game that way a little earlier.
At that time, the NBA or basketball world was looking for the next Michael Jordan. Penny Hardaway, right after Grant Hill, was that next guy that was 6'8", that could handle the ball, that could shoot the 3, he could post up. He was basically a matchup nightmare at the point guard position.
I was aware of his game, and you know there was some similarities. I think we were both guys that 6'7", 6'8", could do a lot of different things on the court, and I was just anxious to sort of how does his game translate at the next level? Can he sort of play that point guard position, or is he more of a 2?
I didn't know that I was going to Orlando, I thought Chris was well-deserving of the first pick, and I thought they had made the decision. But once they said about the trade, it surprised me a lot.
I don't think Penny could have gone wrong in Golden State. The way that Golden State played, if you would have put him, Spree, Billy Owens, Mully, and Tim Hardaway together, with the way that Don Nelson was coaching there.
It would have been very tough to announce because in the backcourt you'd have Anthony Hardaway and Tim Hardaway, so you couldn't say Hardaway's bringing the ball up the floor. You'd have to say their first names.
I think if we'd have had Webber, we would have had the same success. Obviously, it would have been in a different way because we'd have been inside out. Every night, big guys would have had to get a good night rest.
Do you remember what your starting lineup would have been?
Starting lineup would have been Scotty Skiles at the 1, Nick Anderson at the 2, Dennis Scott at the 3, C. Webb at the 4, and me at the 5, which is a pretty deadly team.
Penny and I ever talked about what? No, because, going to Golden State made me who I was. I got a chance to play with Hall of Famer and Chris Mullin. I got a chance to experience the West Coast. I got a chance to win Rookie of the Year. And so who knows what would have happened with all those things. And I became even a bigger fan of Penny and a friend of his in Orlando because him coming off the pick and rolls with D. Scott in the corner, Shaq going to the oop, Horace shooting that jump shot up top. They just had an awesome team. I would say it was pretty much a success for both of us.
Penny, it was Shaq, Horace Grant's return, MJ.
Ooh, I was at this game.
Putting MJ in that bucket. Oh yeah, big guard.
Look at Penny by then. Penny could just pull up and take it by then.
Come here, MJ. Man, he's just backing Jordan down, shooting over it. Too small.
Look at this jab step on Michael. Backs Michael down, and he's taller. And look at his turnaround. Look how beautiful that is.
Oh my God, his game was so smooth.
Look at that screen and roll, but there was you didn't need to roll. Penny Hardaway was going to use that screen to get open.
Shaq got the Bootsy fade. He got the little Bootsy fade. You see it?
Shaq says, no, Luke, you're not getting this, big boy. Oh, I was sitting in the baseline right there.
I see Shaq just bulldoze somebody over with a bear hug.
See what I'm saying? You see what I mean about that energy level, man, when you're in shape? It's a difference. Hurdling over people. And then guess what? If that was the Shaq Lakers, they probably would have had to carry that person out on the stretcher.
Ooh, run the jewels. Like Killer Mike.
Come on. Big fella, don't tear it down. We want to catch flights out of Chicago. Don't tear it down.
That's not fair, man. Shaq was not fair. He was just a cheat code.
Don't tell me inside basketball has to be dead. Nobody throws an entry pass anymore. Entry to what? What are they going to enter? Anybody standing with his feet on the line is going to say, let me do a step back. Right now, there's a whole generation of basketball players saying, what's an entry pass? God.
That's what you call a slippery eel. Up and under a little bit, then slide through two defenders.
This team was so good.
They were breathtakingly effective.
It's over right here. Here's the, cherry on the sundae.
Shaquille should not have dunked that ball. You know what he should have done? He should have just dribbled out the clock.
Oh, no. Come dribble out the clock. What do you mean? They just beat the Bulls.
Doug Collins, old school. He already knew that they was doing too much celebrating in the home of that black cat. And Doug done fought with him on the floor. And he knew that celebration, he said, he was like, he should have dribbled that ball back out. I don't know if I would have did that.
What was that, Doug Collins? He should have been rooting for Shaq after the Bulls fired him. What was he mad for? Stop hating.
They carried Horace Grant off the floor. Look at Michael looking at him. Like, all right.
There is no happiness that a human from our entire history of our species can achieve than the happiness that Horace Grant feels when he takes off those goggles and walks into that locker room knowing that Michael Jordan and all the rest of those Bulls are in the opposing locker room ready to end their season while the Orlando Magic march on. God, I love Horace Grant.
We thought that was the beginning of something special. They would go on to get to the finals, but lose to Houston and not get back to the finals with that cast.
It just felt like, I was like, oh, okay, like this team is the new it. It's the new it in basketball.
I'm mad that Penny and Shaq didn't work out, to be honest.
You knew Jerry West was going to do something, and Shaq was the something. Shaq was too big a fish to stay in Orlando. And I know they had to hurt the people of Orlando to just watch Shaq go west and deliver like that, when they thought Shaq could have delivered in the same way with Penny Hardaway. You know what? So do I.
If the Bulls were the new wave off of the Pistons, then you felt like Orlando had a chance to take that mantle.
I think this team, this Orlando team, if they had stayed together, they could have won at least 1 or 2 championships.
Orlando is one of those, that's one of those, what happens if Penny Hardaway is able to stay healthy?
You know, I said it countless times on my show already. Not only was Penny Hardaway one of my favorite point guards of all time, but also one of the players that I really patterned my game after. Just a combination of having this tall point guard with great court vision, this beautiful basketball style, being super unselfish, and still having the capability of being that #1 guy. And, oh man, it's so unfortunate that we never got to see his full potential. Maybe in like 50 years we have this AI thing which simulates what he could have been. But it's just important to me to always give this guy some credit for influencing so many people of my generation. Penny. Anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you next time on the Basketball Time Machine.